Yay Networks.
Hi, Wild Ones. Welcome back to the Wild Rose podcast. I'm Whitney Rose.
And I'm Connie Daniels.
And I've been missing my bestie on the road.
I've missed you too. I'm so glad we're back here on the couch.
Listen,
in person.
Last time we recorded, I had a jet to another plane. No pun intended.
Intended.
I wish I took a private jet. Oh my God, these delays and cancellations. But I've missed you, but my last trip is over.
Yay, you're back for a minute.
Yeah. How was it while I was gone? How was home?
I held the fort down.
What did I miss?
What did you miss? Not a lot. We did the 4th of July stuff, and that, I don't know about our listeners out there or everyone who celebrated the 4th of July, but having it on a Tuesday, it felt like celebrations went on forever because we had like Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, and then some people had to work Monday. Some people took it off. So we had Monday, Tuesday, and it just felt like it went on forever. So we had so much going on. I felt like we just kind of took it easy. Like, I know that you've been dreaming about taking it easy for a while. So that's what I did. I did it for both of us.
Thank you. And
I don't know if it worked for you.
Our tradition every year, we have a pool party. And then we do fireworks at Connie's house. We used to do them at my house. Like, I kind of started the tradition more just with my family. But then when I became close to Connie, we started doing it together. But then I moved to a neighborhood where fireworks are banned. So we can do them at Connie's house. And I am so proud to say that I didn't almost blow up Connie's house this year.
Right.
And I did not catch anyone on fire. I did not burn anyone. The fireworks show was big. I mean, all out. If it's not up in the air, we don't fuck around with it. Like, we like big fireworks shows.
Yes.
And I'm a pyro. And Connie trusts me enough, I guess.
I don't know if I trust you. You just go for it. And I'm like, okay, let's put what do we put? A table down on its side to block all the fireworks if they tip over from shooting at the audience, which is like my entire front lawn full of people, kids, everyone. Yeah. And it has tipped over before. So we've learned the hard way. So anybody out there who does big fireworks shows at home, use our tip.
DM me because you have to have center blocks too.
Oh yeah.
You have to have center blocks to hold the firework box, then the table and sandbags on the table. Because yes, I have had a aerial firework. I think it was about a 40 or a 50 shooter, which means it shoots 50 fireworks, okay? Tip over and shoot straight into the audience and into Connie's. They were blowing up in her garage.
Yeah, it was nuts.
I caught like some people were getting burned. Luckily, no one was hit by a firework, but like the shrapnel of it, like the explosion of it. And
there was little burns, but luckily nobody got massively hurt. But yeah, we've learned.
But last year, I did, our dear friend Sherry that we talk about, the 4th is her birthday, our angel friend that passed. Last year, I caught her dress on fire. I burnt a hole in it.
No, for real. I should share the picture because she was so damn cute. She pulls up her little flowy pants that burned right through. And underneath, she has on these sequin 4th of like American flag underwear. And I was dying. So I took pictures of it. It's so freaking cute.
Yeah, we'll have to post those in her honor. But yeah, so I'm glad you after the 4th, I went to the Vancouver.
How was it?
Canada. I love Canada. I love Vancouver. So much fun. Like,
how was your pop-up shop? Or it wasn't a pop-up shop, it's a real shop.
So the purpose of the trip was, Prism, my jewelry company, got into our first big retailer in Vancouver called The Cross. It's a staple store there. I'm trying to think of one, like every city has like a store that's like the it store, right? This is the it store, and The Cross it's stunning. It's gorgeous. So Prism is officially launched there. We did very well. We had a little selling party, and people got to come shop and sip champagne. But you know how it is. We've had the Prism girls on the podcast, but we've always focused on the spiritual side, and we haven't really gotten into like the other side of Prism, which is...
What's the other side of Prism?
I mean, we have fun. I mean, like from the minute I landed in Vancouver, it was oysters, champagne, laughs. Like we had so much fun, and we did a photo shoot. We have a capsule collection dropping hopefully next week, within the next couple weeks for a summer line. And we went all over Vancouver doing a photo shoot. And, you know, people started catching on to who I was, what we were doing. So location to location, we started gathering an audience. And I'm a fool in my bikini and like jewelry, like letting the waves, I'm like trying to be Little Mermaid, let the waves crash over me. I'm covered in sand, showcasing the jewelry. And people are just like, again, photos, cameras out, like this chick.
You never know what you'll find Whitney doing out in the wild. That's for sure.
So I get it. It's the day of the photo shoot, and I have my 2 suitcases. And I was staying at the Fairmont Pacific Pac Rim, and they were in the residential side. So I had to like go from hotel to residential side with these 2 big suitcases. And I mean, people recognize me. They know what's going on. I get in the elevator, and it's full of people, and I have my 2 suitcases, and I'm in the hotel slippers and robe. And I look down at my hand, and I just see tons of blood, and I start freaking out because I think I have a bloody nose, and I'm like, like freaking out, and I like charge through the people to look at the mirror. Like,
and you don't
and
have
I don't have a bloody nose. And this
Word.
sweet little lady hands me a tissue because it was my finger.
Oh, you
I cut
yourself
my finger open,
somehow.
but have you ever had a cut that just gushes?
I mean, it's probably been a while.
So people were like standing away from me.
like not to get blood on them.
Just like getting blood
like,
all over my face because I thought I had a bloody nose.
Oops.
Okay.
Honest mistake.
But anyways, yeah, Vancouver, I'm glad to be home. I want to do some summer things this week. Like sit by the pool, you know,
chill out for a minute as much as you
summer
can.
things. So, but today we have a guest that I am really excited about. She is someone that I've followed for a very long time and have wanted to, quite honestly, like I fangirl her. I have personally wanted to be on her radar. So this is a really fun moment because she's kind of an LA it girl. She's an editor. She's an influencer. She's a Pilates instructor. Her name is Jean Stephan, and she'll be joining us today to talk all things beauty, trends, wellness, and just kind of give us her sense and direction on where, like, what's hot right now and where she thinks the industry is going. Plus, she has had an amazing experience living in LA in her 20s, dating in Hollywood. So she's a really, really cool, smart, just successful businesswoman that I'm excited to talk to. So let's take a break. And when we come back, we will bring on Jean Stephan.
I'm excited to meet her.
Connie, you know, we both are obsessed with our meal kits.
Yes.
I mean, they just make life easier, but I recently started a 6-week fitness challenge, and I just realized on the meal kit options, you can select an option that has a higher protein content and like a balanced diet option, which is amazing because I'm supposed to be eating more protein now with this challenge. So just like another reason why I'm loving these meal kits so much.
I've been loving all of the pescatarian options. Now, I didn't realize that I'd be eating pescatarian until our daughter decided that she wants to eat pescatarian a while back. So, of course, I'm going to make something that she wants to eat too. So the whole family eats pescatarian. And the other night, our son, who, by the way, loves red meat, steak, all of that, he said, "Mom, I don't even miss eating other meats."
Seriously?
Yeah.
Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating clean, with dinners that work for you, not the other way around. There's tons of variety, and Green Chef makes healthy eating convenient and easy.
Green Chef is now owned by HelloFresh. And with a wider array of meal plans to choose from, there's something for everyone. I love switching between the brands, and now our listeners can enjoy both brands at a discount with us.
Feel your best this summer with seasonal recipes featuring certified organic fruits and vegetables, organic cage-free eggs, and sustainably sourced seafood.
Get everything you need with options for every lifestyle at the Green Market for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, and more you can easily add on to your weekly order.
I love Green Chef so much because, one, it just makes dinner time so much easier for my family. I know that everyone's getting the nutrition that they need. And with these new workouts that I started, I'm getting the higher protein that I need, which is really hard to do in a day. So to have the meals pre-planned for me makes it so much easier.
I love that I don't have to go grocery shopping and that all that I need to make a delicious meal for my family shows up right at my doorstep every week. I can count on it. Saves me time, saves me money.
Go to greenchef.com/wildrose50 and use code wildrose50 to get 50% off plus free shipping.
That's greenchef.com/wildrose50 and use code wildrose50 to get 50% off plus free shipping.
Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well. So this is Connie's first time. Well, it's my first time officially meeting you, Taylor.
Hi, Taylor. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. I told Connie, I think, no offense to anyone else we've had on. I love all of our guests, but I'm really excited to have you on today.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So I feel like most everyone knows who you are. I introduced Connie to you. We stalked your Instagram. She's like, wow, she's someone we need to know for sure. But you're an editor, and we just kind of want to know like how you got into the industry. Like, how did you get started?
So it's a really interesting story. I didn't start out in journalism, actually. I went to UCLA about like 10 years ago, and I really wanted to be in fashion PR. And this was before social media or anything like that. So fashion was like a very exclusive industry back then. So I pretty much spent my college years interning like up and down Rodeo Drive at like Dolce & Gabbana, Dior, Bulgari, doing like celebrity red carpet fittings and things like that. So that was initially where my head was at. And then when I graduated college, a lot of the girls that I knew from that I was working for were friends with Cindy Crawford's second assistant, and they were looking for a third assistant. So my first job out of college, I wound up being Cindy's assistant for a year.
Wow.
I actually, I actually turned it down when they first offered it to me.
What?
I think because I didn't see myself being a personal assistant. And so I said, let me get back to you. And then I chatted with people and they were like, Taylor, you need to take this. This is a good opportunity. So I did that for about a year. And then from there so that was an interesting, I was so young. I was fresh out of college. I was like going on photo shoots, running errands for her. It was cool because I think she had a line called Meaningful Beauty, which is still around.
Right.
And so I got to see like the behind the scenes of like what it takes to run a brand, like what her schedule was like. I even like helped to manage her calendar. So I saw like what kind of appointments she was doing and things like that. So it kind of got me interested in beauty because she looked so good for, obviously, and just like everything that went into that. So I think that's kind of where my interest in beauty started. And then from there, I got a job at E! News, and that was I started as an associate editor. I was doing style and beauty content. The girl that hired me, like shout out to Diana, she like really trained me and taught me everything I know. And that was such a journey. And it was such a learning curve. Like I remember sitting at my desk, like 8 p.m. having to rewrite a whole article, crying my eyes out because I didn't know how to write. And then from there, right before the pandemic, I actually quit my job at E! Because I was so burnt out. And I was like, I'm done with this industry. I don't know what I'm doing next. And then pandemic hits. And then I started freelancing and had no clue what I was doing. Was like writing articles for like pennies, for like random outlets. And then just started to build over these past 3 years. And I probably wouldn't have stuck with it unless if not for the pandemic, because it takes time to build that like rapport with editors, to build that reputation. And I probably wouldn't have been as patient with it if I didn't have the pandemic.
Just from the outside looking in, it seems like it's one of the most competitive, cutthroat industries. Like, just from being a TV person and a brand owner, just even trying to get someone to write about you alone is hard. So I can't imagine as a writer getting into these publications. And did you write in college, or like, did you just self-train? Like, you just...
I didn't write I was an art history major, so I wrote essays on art, but it was a totally different way of writing. Really the girl that hired me at E taught me how to think like an editor, write like an editor, interview like an editor. And now I can do it and like really do it almost in my sleep. So I'm definitely a skill that people I think don't have these days. But I think a big part of being an editor, especially a freelancer, is that you have to have two relationships. So you have to have relationships with the editors who assign things out, which a lot of them are based in New York. And so if you're just starting out and you're reaching out randomly to these girls that are in charge at these big publications, they're not going to respond to you. So it's really about building your career and doing that networking from the ground up. And then a lot of the girls I write for are around my age. And so we kind of just grew in the industry together. And as they got promoted, they started asking me to write for them. And then on the flip side, you have to have really strong relationships with PR companies, because they're the ones sending pitches. They're the ones saying, so-and-so's launching this. Can you come to this event? Can you come interview so-and-so? So it's all reputation based.
Yeah. And you, when you look at your Instagram, you would think, oh, she's like celebrity influencer. Like your content is so on point. I love watching your styling videos. And how much of that do you think helps you write? Because it's you get it, because you are an it girl yourself.
You're so sweet. And I love hearing you. That's so sweet to hear, because it's half the time I'm oh, it's, because I'm so in it. I see so many people doing this type of content I'm doing. So it feels good to hear that that's how it comes across. I would say that I kind of hesitated on the social front, for a while. And I'm actually a very behind the scenes person. And I don't love being I don't naturally love being in front and sharing my opinions and doing all of that kind of stuff. I'm more of an observer and a listener. But I think as social started to take off, I started seeing it's more of a portfolio. So now if a brand wants to work with me, or if an editor wants to work with me, they'll take 5 seconds to look at my page and they'll be okay, I want to work with this girl. Yeah. So I think I've started leaning into it in terms of just being it's a part of what I'm doing, and it hurts me not to do it. So I need to do it. But I've started having fun with the styling videos and stuff like that. I have a friend who helps me with that, and we just batch shoot, and then I get it up when I can. And then when I'm on trips and with other influencers, who are way bigger than me, I'll be can you take my photos? And I learn so much from them on that front. So that's been cool too.
That's amazing. So, because I love fashion, I feel I'm just now getting into that aspect of it, but I've always been into beauty and skincare. I've always loved all things skincare, wellness, makeup, all of it. And what are you seeing right now? What are the biggest beauty trends you're seeing in the industry?
I think that's such a interesting question, because I think with TikTok and with all of these platforms where people are sharing, there's always a new hashtag, and there's always a new gym lip or whatever the hell it is that people are talking about. But it's a lot of these trends are recycled, I think. As someone who's been writing about this stuff for years, it's just sculpted, it's bronzing and sculpting is a new trend, or beach waves as a new trend, or what it's just reinvented and reworded some way. So I really think in the beauty industry, there's not a ton of new things that are happening. It's things just being recycled. But I think what's cool is it's being presented in different ways. on social media. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, the platforms are changing.
Yeah. So it's kind of like
yeah.
fashion, how fashion kind of recycles and
Totally.
and it comes out in like with a little different flair, but it's basically the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then like one person will get on board with something and then all of a sudden it'll blow up and then the next thing will come in.
Yeah.
But I think what I've noticed too with editorial is that a lot of content that you would have seen as an article is now being transformed. So it's on social. So it's interesting to see like sometimes a piece of social content is more impactful than an article, just depending on like how it's presented.
That is really like, is that the biggest change you think you've seen in the industry then?
I think so. Cause I also see like a lot of the outlets, like the big outlets like Condé Nast, Hearst, like that have been around forever. They're now trying, I won't like name specific ones, but it's like they're now trying to like really, really get on board with social. And so like a lot of the editors aren't necessarily like on camera personalities. So they're trying to pull them in to do that kind of stuff, but it's not really hitting the same way. Or their pulse just isn't as quick as someone who is used to doing social content. So I think a lot of outlets are scrambling, trying to figure out how to fit into that because everyone's trying to monetize at this point too. And so as you know, like the magazine industry is not on an upward climb right now.
Right. So what is your feeling on TikTok? Because Threads just came out. TikTok is blown up.
I know.
Is there really another platform that I have to learn?
Threads, oh my God.
But like with skincare, do I need to just dive head in and do it?
Are you doing TikTok or?
I have a TikTok and I was doing it, but I have so many things that I do that I get overwhelmed.
So I have a TikTok too, and I have like 10 followers. Like I don't post TikToks. I think like the challenge, I think it's like how much of yourself do you want to share online? Obviously, the people that are super successful with it are people that are kind of just out there 24/7, posting like their get ready routines, posting that stuff. I think that stuff is going to continue to do well. I think even when I interviewed Rosie Huntington-Whiteley and I sat down with her, she was amazing. I sat down with her for 30 minutes and she went over every single detail of her beauty routine, like answered every single question, like every single product. And the amount of DMs I got from people was insane, wanting to know like what she uses. I think like, I don't know if you remember the outlet called Into the Gloss. They're still around, but they do this like top shelf series where they just interview cool people and they run through like every single thing they use. That kind of stuff, whether it's an editorial or whether that's on TikTok or something, that's always interesting. People are always going to want to know like what people are using. So I think like, I think it's so hard because I don't know if TikTok's staying or if it's going or whatever. I'm also getting annoyed with all the different platforms. Like I don't do social full time either. So I'm like, how much of this do I need to be doing? Like, but it's the amount of money you can make, as I'm sure you know, doing social content is insane. So it's like, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah. I just found that Instagram works well for me. That's where I live. And it's I've noticed editors, it's like easier for editors on Instagram too. Like I haven't really seen many like, besides a clip that directs you to somewhere else, like publications are like, are you doing much with TikTok on the editing side? Like do ads run for like editorial?
Yeah. So I'm not on that side. There's probably I remember when I worked at E, there was a whole team that was dedicated to like branded content and ads. So brands will go to that team and they'll like run ads and stuff. But as an editor, like they barely have budget to pay us to write an article. So it's like, I don't know if they're also going to have budget. There are social teams like dedicated outlets to create content. I will say like when I do I interviewed like Ashley Graham and then Rosie and they did ask me to capture social. So while I was there, I did like quick little videos for them and then send it off to the team and they edit it. But the side of social where it's merging with editorial, I'm not really in like deep in that side of things. I think it's wise for outlets to figure that out because that's where people are going. And then from a personal, like, since I'm freelance and I have like my personal brand, that it's probably beneficial too for me to like figure that out as well.
So I have so many questions I want to ask you. A lot of beauty questions. But I want to know, because you've had the opportunity to like interview a lot of big time people, a lot of celebrities, a lot of big influencers, and a lot of just like really cool personalities. So what would you say like your best interview moments are, if you had to name like one or two?
Definitely when I interviewed Kim Kardashian, I had interviewed Kylie Jenner first. And I remember I thought it was just a quick interview, and I showed up and it was like they were filming for this show and I had to sign a release and do a COVID test. And I like literally showed up in jeans and sneakers, and it was like a full on like cocktail party for their for their show. So after I did that, anytime I'm around the Kardashians, I like know that I have to be like full decked out. So then when I showed up for my Kim interview, she was launching Skin. And so she wasn't, there was a pop-up at a mall in LA where she was launching the store. So she rolls in, and it was only me and one other editor from Refinery 29. I was doing it for Bustle. And the cameras it was like full on, like, I don't think they wound up putting it on the show, but it was like full on cameras. They like usher you in. Kim was actually really probably the most pleasant of a surprise of someone that I've interviewed. She's obviously very strategic. Everything that comes out of her mouth, she's thought about. She's not just off the cuff, but she's making eye contact. She's answering every single question that I have. She's smiling. You feel like you're actually having a conversation with her, which even like the eye contact thing, I think is like a lot of times that doesn't even happen. Really? So she's very like, she's very focused on you. She even gave me like an exclusive, like I asked about, everyone missed KKW Beauty. Like, is that coming back? And she said that she was launching a new makeup line under Skin, which I haven't heard any updates on, but it's cool because you feel like, oh, she's like actually, talking to me, and she's giving me an exclusive. And she spent like 10 minutes with me, which is long in like a quick like interview setting where she's on camera filming. So
yeah, that awesome. Would definitely be in one of my top moments too. And I actually watched that on your social media, and my favorite was reading the comments, and people were like, how are you staying so calm and keeping your composure?
Yes, how do you? Share with us.
I think it's like one of those things where you're just like, you're a little nervous beforehand, and then you're just like, okay, like buckle up, we got a job to do. And like, I feel like as I've gotten older too, like I used to be so like emotional and reactive, and now I'm just like able to keep my chill even if I'm not feeling chill on the inside. It's like I think it's about breathing, making eye contact, talking slower, just though like little things like that just help you like stay present. And I think like I just try and stay present anytime I'm interviewing someone, so that you're not like like you want to ask follow-up questions, you want to get those sound bites. So
do you think just doing this over and over and over made it easier for you to recognize and practice those things, so that made it easier for you?
I think prepping questions ahead of time, doing research on them, knowing not to like ask certain questions or not like bring up things that might be a little controversial. And just like asking a leading question and then just letting them talk, I think is important. Leaving room for silence.
And being okay with silence for a minute, right?
Yes,
While people gather their thoughts.
Totally.
But so I'm kind of jumping all around. Obviously, I have a skincare line, and your skin, like through the laptop, is glowing and stunning. Like, tell us your like skincare routine. What is your daily routine?
Yes. So I'm people always ask me like what specific products I use, and I get so many sent to me that I'm sure you do too, where I'm like, I try and try everything, which I obviously don't, but I rarely use the same product more than once, just because the new things are coming in. I don't have like anything super regimented. In the morning, I usually don't wash my face. Because I'm so lazy, I just like roll out of bed. I'll do like a vitamin C or like a hyaluronic serum, and then a face oil. I'm big on face oils over moisturizers. It just works with my skin. And then an SPF, and that like is my morning routine. It's so quick. And then at night, I usually do like an oil cleanser. So, cause I will obviously be wearing makeup. I'll do an oil cleanser, use like a washcloth to like make sure everything's off. I don't usually do a second cleanser again, cause I'm pretty lazy. And then I'll do like some type of like resurfacing. I like the U Beauty one. I'm like, I should tell you all the products, but that's what I'm using right now.
Yeah, no, just your routine, because like you said, there's so many products out there. So I guess I should say like your favorite ingredients is easier, like, cause every line has essentially the same stack of ingredients, right? Like, but so you're a skin oil girl. That's like, if you had to pick one product.
I love an oil. Sometimes I will literally just use an oil if I'm like so lazy. There's a plastic surgeon down in San Diego named Dr. Karam, and if you follow him on Instagram, he does this thing called like a vertical restore facelift, and it's like amazing. But I met him, and he told me that there are 3 ingredients that you should always be using in, I think it was 3. He said vitamin C, and then growth factors. And then I forgot, there was something else. I can't remember, but growth factors and vitamin C is like 2 things I always try and make sure that I'm using in my skincare routine.
Yeah, amazing. Well, it's working. And I have Wild Rose Beauty coming your way to try. I'd love your feedback.
I'm excited to check it out.
Because I was going to also ask you like your favorite beauty treatments, because I'm big on, I'm a freak about my routine, because I don't have as easy skin. I would say like your skin is probably naturally pretty balanced, right?
Well,
you live a healthy lifestyle.
I do live a healthy lifestyle. I actually did Accutane twice. So my skin was I had really, really bad breakouts when I did a video on my Instagram, but it was, it's a while back, but like I had really bad acne here and people never knew it because I would cover it up, and I just, but now my skin is like in a really good place, but I do credit a lot of that to Accutane. Okay. Which is a controversial, a lot of, people, it's an intense medication. So, but you got to do what you got to do. And now it's in a good place. And,
listen,
and now
there's a lot of controversy around breast implants, and I have them. So
totally. I know anything we do, there's controversy.
It's about balance. I think if you're going to do something that's like, has the chemicals or is a little more toxic, then balance it out by removing some toxin somewhere else.
Totally.
But what is your favorite skincare treatment? Are you like a hydrofacial girl? You just talked about the vertical facelift. Like, what is your go-to?
That's like a $75K like full-on facelift you get when you're 60, and like I'm already saving for it. But
well, I'll start putting dollars aside. Yeah, maybe something more affordable that you can walk off the street.
So I get invited obviously to a lot of treatments. I don't personally do a lot of facials. I think it's just because I have like skincare here, and a lot of times when I do facials, I just feel like it's not actually doing anything. But I will say I like things that are a little bit more intense, like a Morpheus 8, microneedling, things like that to help. I've done soft wave twice, which is like ultrasound frequency, and you have to it's kind of like, I don't know if you've done Morpheus 8 or heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I have not done it yet.
So that one is more like it's needles and ultrasound technology. So it goes deep into your skin. You have to numb. It's basically like microneedling on crack, and they recommend doing like 3 treatments. And I always do my neck when I do my face, so everything matches.
Good girl.
But soft wave was cool too. That one's more of like a tightening, and it's just like this, again, just ultrasound technology, and it's just like this silver, really cold, and it kind of just like tingles. And that takes like 6 months to like see results. But I've done it twice, once a year, the past 2 years, and I feel like that worked. But again, I do so many things, and people are like, what's the secret? And I'm like, I actually don't know, because I do so much.
Right. I love that there are so many options though. I mean, that we all have. So many. Because they all help.
And they all help. And I think anything you do, it's about consistency. So I'm always doing things. So it's doing something.
When you say always,
is
it like a once a month? Like you're getting a treatment once a month, once every other week, once a week? Like how often are you trying things out?
Probably like those type of treatments every like 3 months, I would say. Like depending, like I'll do like a soft wave, like you're supposed to be good for like a year. And then I'll do maybe like a microneedling like every 3 months or something like that. And again, it's like, it's so hard because I'm getting invited to these things. So there really isn't any like consistency to like when it's coming in. I get free like Botox and filler all the time too. And so I'm always like, I love my Botox. I love my filler. Like, but I'm always like, okay, Taylor, you don't need to go in again. And and I'm going to different people every time. They're all like top in their field. So I trust them, but it's, you got to like check yourself a little bit.
Yeah, those are easy to overdo.
Yeah.
You can overfill real quick.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
Well, because since you're like an intense treatment girl, you only need those a couple times a year and then just take really good care of your skin. But I just learned I had a new treatment done that you have to look up. It came from Australia. It went to Europe and it's just coming to the States as far as I know. I could be wrong, but it's called the plasma pen. And I did the cool jet. So it's like plasma frequency. So it's non-invasive and it just tightens, closes up your pores. Cause I'm very sensitive and I like microneedling and I want to look into the Morpheus, but my skin is so sensitive that I find I just take really good care with my routine and resurface, exfoliate, but look up the cool jet. I think you'd love it.
Yeah. I'm going to add that to my list.
Yeah, add it to your list. I do want to end because you are in Hollywood. You lived in Hollywood in your 20s, and I want to know what that's all about, all the tea, what that's like. But before you do, will you leave us with like our listeners love just to hear what people's like best practices are. So we've heard your skincare, your beauty, best practices, but like you're big in the wellness space too. Like you're a Pilates girl, right?
I'm actually a certified Pilates instructor.
You're certified instructor.
Yes. So I got certified over the pandemic and then taught for a while. I travel a lot for work and so my schedule is very inconsistent. So I've started just doing like events with brands and things like that, pop-ups here and there, but I'm not teaching super consistent.
Yeah, I see you all over Aloe, and I've watched some of your reformer videos. You're like, I just got into the reformer, so I have to say you are strong. Like, people don't realize when she is like going in from plank to pike on the reformer, people have no idea how hard that really is, and she's just makes it look easy.
That's the thing with Pilates. I think it's like you want it to look easy and you want that flow, but it's so hard.
But before we jump into the tea, what are like your like best wellness practices? Like the 3 things that you must do every day for your mental, spiritual, emotional health.
Like non-negotiable.
Non-negotiables.
So the things I try and do every day, I've recently started taking athletic greens, which is like have you guys heard of athletic greens?
I take that. I just started about a month ago. I love it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't eat a lot of greens, and so I feel like it like makes me feel better. Like I'm getting some semblance of nutrition, even if I'm like eating like, I'm not like super, super healthy. I'm a big snacker. I like dairy. I don't eat a lot of sugar, but I drink. Like I don't have like a super strict diet. So I try and supplement that in. And then I also take like my vitamins every single day. I take like a prenatal vitamin, like a bone health vitamin, an omega and a vitamin C. So I think little things like that, I make sure I do that. I try and move my body every day, even if it's like, I'm not into like crazy intense workouts. I will do like weightlifting. Or like obviously Pilates, even if it's just a walk. Again, like some days I'm writing, some days I'm filming something, some days I'm doing an interview, some days I'm traveling. So it's like, what are those things that I can do that I can do from anywhere?
Yeah. So moving your body, keeping it nutritious.
Taking athletic greens and then taking my vitamins. But I'm very much like, I like to just, I'm not a regimented person. I don't like to like meal prep. I don't like to know exactly what I'm eating every day. I go very like according to my mood. So like some days I'll want to work out at 4 p.m. and some days I want to wake up at 6 a.m. I think it's that to me, like being super strict is not my vibe.
Well, we're similar. Like if Connie and I joke all the time that if someone tells us what to do, or if like we try to put ourselves on a diet or like a strict routine, we'll do the exact opposite.
Yeah, no,
like I'll have mimosas at breakfast instead.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I same. Like I will have a drink every day if the opportunity presents itself. Like it just is what it is.
So you don't limit yourself. You just kind of go with the flow of things, but also you kind of have things that you stay on track with.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I do think like having your health is like, you see, as you get older, you see people like things happening that are awful, and you like really are grateful for having your health. And so like, that's why I'm like, I feel better. I'm like, oh, I'm taking vitamins. Like I'm good. Like,
yeah, every little bit helps. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that's a big trend right now is like these powders that you put in your drinks. Like I love the athletic greens because it actually has all of the greens that you need plus a daily dose of your essential vitamins. Did you know that?
Yeah.
And so it's like,
actually, yeah. Yeah.
So you can supplement with more vitamins and just, it's like so easy. Yeah. So, you're in LA, you're dating in Hollywood. Like, tell us what that is like.
Yeah. Are you single?
Yeah. I'm single right now. Yeah, I'm single. I really at this point, like I'm not in the Hollywood scene. I'm definitely looking for like a life partner at this point. So I'm not like, when I was in my 20s, I was like at E! News, going to every VIP party, doing like, and it was like the coolest thing ever. You know, everyone's back in the day, every girl wanted to work at E! News, and I had access to absolutely everything. And I was a little bit of a wild child when I was younger. And I was dating for fun. I mean, back in the day, like dating apps were actually cool. Like I met some really cool people on them. I think now it's a whole situation. I don't really want to do dating apps, but, yeah, I dated like, I think because I worked at E! and because of the stuff I was invited to, I met a lot of like those reality TV star people, and there wasn't really anything like serious that happened. And most of my like long-term relationships have been from people that are totally out of LA. But yeah, now I'm single, I'm open. I don't know what the right like approach is. I think like lately I've just kind of been having people introduce me because I think that's like mutual whatever. But I haven't been like in the crazy Hollywood scene for a while.
But back in your my heyday, when you were in your heyday, what are some of like the biggest lessons that you learned in your 20s? Because you're living every Utah sheltered Mormon bubble girl's dream. Like, in our 20s, we were having babies. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like you have to realize you're living Connie and I's like dream life in our 20s. So
I'm living it out now, but it's totally different in my 40s.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. I think I'm trying to think like what my best advice would be, or like just what lessons I've learned. I think like one of the things when I first moved like to LA from like the San Diego area, I was in shock at how everyone just acts like insane and crazy all the time. And it's totally normal. So it was really like weirdly freeing that like you could just like not give a fuck and like do whatever you want and everything just be socially acceptable. And that's the other thing I say too, is like, I would go to like these house parties in the hills and people would be like doing like drugs and drinking and all this shit around you. And you would be like, what the fuck is going on? But then you would like rationalize it because you're like, oh, well, these people have like really, really cool jobs. So it's fine. But it's like a warped mentality. Cause it's like, if I hang out in San Diego with a dude that's like hanging at the beach and drinking and doing nothing like with his time, he's a loser. But in LA, like they're cool. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And now all those people a decade later are in rehab.
Probably.
1,000%. Like it does catch up with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I think like one of the other biggest lessons I think I've just learned in general, whether it's like business, dating, like whatever, it's just like letting people show you who they are. Like I think especially when I was younger, you like try and like manipulate situations or get attention or whatever the situation is because you want like a certain outcome. now I'm very like, again, like I sit back, I observe, you find out who people are quicker, and they kind of, the ones that just don't align, they kind of just like fall off and you don't have to put any energy into it. So it's like, I'm more about like less energy and like just letting things be the way they are.
Yeah, because I feel like in your 20s, most of us don't really know exactly who we are. Some of us don't know in our 30s or 40s or who knows. But definitely in our 20s, it's harder to really know who you are. So I feel like a lot of us kind of mold ourselves to fit the situation or the person. But like you're saying, as you get older, you kind of don't care that much. You're like, well, I'll sit and watch instead of try to fit into this situation.
Yeah. And I feel like too, it's like one of my top, like we're talking about wellness, one of my top like priorities in life is just feeling good. And so that's like doing things that make me feel good, spending time with people that make me feel good. So if I'm like talking to someone or someone's in my life in some capacity and I'm not getting like good vibes from it, like I don't entertain that energy anymore just because it's not worth it to me.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's important to do. Like protect your energy.
Well, and I think that's
you do.
Yeah, I think that's, don't you think that's like becoming self-aware too? Like you have to learn that skill of like listening to your intuition, really paying attention to your body in the moment, like how you're feeling, right?
I know you get a physical reaction.
Yeah, it's either easy or you're like, get the fuck away from me.
But I think a lot of times it takes a lot of those draining situations over and over and over again for you to go, wait a minute, this isn't for me. Like I need to feel good. This is not for me. You know? So And
you can simply just remove yourself. Like, and that's, and just not being reactionary too. Cause that's like, just cause you like want to do something or you want to react in a certain way, doesn't mean you have to. And that takes practice, of course.
Definitely.
So before we go, I have just 2 more questions for you. So right now you're open, you're ready to find a life partner, you're super focused on yourself, which congratulations, because you're killing it. Like what's next? What are your goals? Like where do you see yourself in the 5-10 years? Like what's next for Taylor?
It's so funny because I've been fairly successful and I'm not like a planner. Like I'm not like a long-term planner. And as I've kind of started my own business doing, freelancing and now hiring a manager and doing social and teaching Pilates and doing consulting with brands, it's kind of evolving into a business where I'm now like, okay, I need to kind of get my shit together a little bit. So I think figuring that out and making that more professional, I guess, and just kind of like from a financial standpoint, like building that as well is important to me. But I'm kind of I'm vibing and I'm going to keep doing things that I enjoy. And I think things naturally grow because I'm in alignment with like things that make me happy. So just more of what I'm already doing.
I love that.
You're in your flow.
Yeah.
I'm in my flow and I'm staying in my flow. Don't get in my fucking way.
I don't think anyone's going to stop you. I think you got this, girl.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
But just selfishly, while I have your time, I just want to know, like, how do you see the beauties? Like not necessarily just skincare, beauty in general. When I think skincare, I think beauty too. Cause I think those are the same thing. Cause your foundation, your face, what am I trying to say? Like your canvas is just as important as the makeup, if not more. So like everything that you have going on and all the people you're working with, like where do you see the industry going, like trending? Like where is it going to go in the next couple of years?
Yeah, that's always like, who would have predicted we'd be where we are at, right?
Right.
I think back to like social media, I think the beauty industry is more accessible than it's ever been. It used to be like, again, like I talk about working for Cindy Crawford, it used to be like one standard of beauty. Like there used to be makeup lines only had like a certain shade range. So I think now there's a lot of like new brands popping up aimed at certain ethnicities or aimed at certain groups of people. And so people are feeling more included in that conversation. And I think with people like doing their beauty routines on social media, even like there's so many TV shows now where it's like everyone's being represented. I think that's going to continue to grow. I remember like when I was at E! News and it would be like a red carpet. We'd do like the whole red carpet front page of the website and everyone would look the same. And now like 5 years later, it's completely different. So I think that's only going to continue to grow, I think. And then, yeah, I think that's like, but who knows? There'll be like a new platform. There'll be like a new, it's AI. Like, let's not even talk about that. Like, who freaking knows? Like, I talk to my peers all the time and we're all like, hell if we know. Like,
yeah, who knows? We might be able to see each other in like real time, like virtually AI next time. Like, like what's that movie where he'd like look at the wall and it's blue? The Matrix.
That was way ahead of its time.
Way ahead of its time. I have noticed a lot. Ingredients matter. A lot of beauty brands, skincare lines, makeup ingredients matter, and that's important to me. So I'm grateful if that's happening. Do you think that'll continue as people become more, the younger generation seem to be more concerned about their health than even we were?
Yeah, no, I think that definitely people are looking at ingredient lists. I think less, obviously, like less is more. It depends. Like I know people on both sides of the spectrum. Some people literally don't care and they just like want to use their, like I'm talking about makeup, for instance, like they just want to like pack on their whatever and they don't give a fuck like what's in it, who made it, what, as long as that's what they want to do. Yep. Skincare, I think, is a little different. Like people really do care about like what they're putting on their face. But then again, it's like there's certain ingredients that like more clinical ingredients sometimes like work better and they're not necessarily natural. So it's really like personal preference. I'm more like along the lines of like whatever works, which I don't know if that's good, but
well, it works for you.
Yeah. And everyone's skin is different. So
and there's a time and place for everything. Like
there's a time and place for everything. Yeah. Yes, agree.
It has been,
but it's like it's personal preference. Like that's, it comes down to that. And
yeah, it has been interesting to see things like TV ads and stuff like hyaluronic acid in this like product you can get at the grocery store. And I don't know what the the quality of it is or whatnot. Maybe it's same. I don't know.
Well, hyaluronic acid, we make it in our own skin. So it's like, it's just a trend. Like it got trendy. It's been in skincare forever.
Has it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's how much I know.
And and there's always like a new ingredient, like a mushroom or something that people are trying. I get so many pitches in I like can't keep up with them all, but
are people putting mushrooms in skincare?
Yeah. Oh yeah. People are using, have you heard of the Snell serum?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's one by like CosRx that's been around forever.
Yeah. There's Snell secretion.
Yeah. Oh no, not for me.
Yeah. That one's been around. I feel like there's been like, again, like it goes back to like what you asked earlier, like these things have been around forever. The cycle just comes back around. And it's like, I've been in this industry long enough where I'm like, okay, seen that before. Like, it's, it's just how it is.
And people will try almost anything to look beautiful,
Totally.
For sure.
Like Snell.
I know I have. I've literally
I will
burned
too.
my face. Yep. I'll try it. And I'm a fan of mushrooms, so I'll try some mushrooms on my face.
You try it.
That's
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Is there any last words you want to leave us with or anything that you're excited to share? Or did we cover everything
I think we covered everything. Again, you can find me at TayTayJean on Instagram. That's mostly where I do my social. Taylor Jean Stephan is my byline if you guys want to read anything that I've written, but I pretty much share at least all the big interviews and stuff on my social. But yeah, just going to keep doing what I'm doing. So if you guys are interested in celeb interviews.
Amazing.
Yes, just if you haven't already, go follow her. She's amazing. Your page is one of those that you can just get lost in around, like,
oh my God,
scrolling. So you're killing it. So congratulations to all of your success. Thank you for taking the time to be with Connie and I. We love you so much.
So fun to meet you.
Thank you guys so much. So fun.
Have a great day and thank you for everything. Thank you guys too. Again, thank you to all of you. We love you. Thank you for all of your amazing feedback. We got a lot of good comments and DMs last week, so thank you so much. We appreciate all of you. We love you. Again, please like us, review us, share us with your friends and family. And if there's anything or anyone that you want us to talk about on the podcast, let us know. But don't forget,
Be you, stay wild.
Yay Networks.